Hello, everyone. On this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about the illusion of happiness. You know, many people believe that other are happier than they are. You know, because of jealousy, because of envy, many people are never happy with what they have. And the Bible tells you that envy and jealousy are sins. When you're envious of someone, it's hard for you to truly appreciate what you have in life. And that's the biggest illusion of happiness is that you think other people are happier than you. Because you think other people are living better lives than you. You'll never be happy with what you have. You'll never value what you have. But the truth is, it's a lie. You're lying to yourself. When you think other people are happier than you, just because they're smiling and they're taking family pictures, smiling, or going to outdoor activities and doing all these things that you're not doing, you're lying to yourself. You don't know what's going on inside the mind of these people. You don't know what's going on inside their lives. There was a news story recently where, I've talked about similar stories in the past on this episode, but this news story is about a guy, a social media influencer, right? Who always showed off his girlfriend. You know, they always made TikTok posts talking about how much, marrying your best friend, dating your best friend is the coolest thing in the world. Nothing can go wrong with dating your best friend. Nothing can go wrong with, marrying the love of your life, your soulmate. They made posts, couple posts. The guy made couple, posts with his wife, couple posts over and over again on social media. His entire persona on social media was him and his girlfriend. I call it wife, but there's no difference. At this point in time, when they've been together for so long, you can call it, wife, you can call it girlfriend. But they make social media posts all the time talking about how perfect their life is, how great it is to date your best friend, how great life is to date, someone you truly love and all that. Come to find out, this guy killed his girlfriend. Killed his girlfriend. If you watch their social media page, you would think these guys were living the high life. These guys were living, this guy and his girlfriend was living a better life than you did. You don't know what's going on inside the life of someone else. You don't know what's going on inside their lives. People love pretending they're happier than they are. The more miserable someone is, the more they pretend they're happy. This is just how life works. The more of a sinner you are, the more miserable your life is. The more you sin, the more you lie. The greatest sinners in this world are also the greatest liars. They're the most deceptive people in the world. Because sinners think they can get away with lies. They think they can get away with manipulating people. They think they can get away with scamming others. Because they think they can get away with it. All they do is lie. They don't care about the truth. They don't want to talk about the truth. They want to lie to you. And the worse the lies become from all these lies, the more they want to lie to you. To hide the fact that their lives are miserable. And that's what you need to be careful of. The person you think is happier than you may not be happier than you. And there's a high, statistically, there's a high chance he's just as miserable as you are. Statistically, it's a high chance. The person you think is happier than you is just as miserable as you are. And that's what you need to be careful of. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. You may pretend it is, but stop pretending. The people you think are happier than you are not happier than you. Do you know why? Because they have the same mindset that you have. Instead of being happy with what they have, they look around them. They look around them, right? And the moment they spot someone who looks happier than them, the moment they spot people who look happier than them, they immediately start to look down on everything they have in life. Instead of appreciating what they have in life, They're just like you. They're ungrateful. They're ungrateful for everything that God has given them. Because they're ungrateful for everything that God has given them, why would God reward them with happiness? If you don't appreciate what God has given you, you will never be happy in life. If you think other people have something better than what you have, you will never be happy in life. What you have is enough. Cherish what you have. Be happy with what you have. If you're not happy with what you have, you will never be happy, regardless of whether you're poor or rich, regardless of whether you have 1,000 lovers or just 0. If you can't be happy with life, you will never be happy in life. It's just a fact. And this is the problem that people deal with. They always think that, this person has, a better life than I do. If you don't have a car, you will not be happy in life. You say, oh, because I don't have a car, I will never be happy until I have a car. Right? Guess what? The person that has a car is doing the same thing that you're doing. They have the same mindset that you have. They have a car, but they don't have a Lexus. Guess what? Guess what their mindset is? If I don't have a Lexus, I will never be happy in life. They have the car that you want. You've been dreaming of having a car. You think people who have cars are automatically happy because they have cars, right? You think people who have cars are living the time of their lives because they have cars. But those people, have the same mindset that you have. Instead of appreciating their cars, instead of being happy that at least they have a car to drive, they're doing the equal and opposite. They're comparing themselves to everyone around them. And the moment they find someone with a better car, they start to look down on the cars they have. The person who has a car is looking down, is looking down on his car because it's just an old beat up car. The car isn't that expensive. Even if it's brand new, it's still not a Lexus. Since it's still not a Lexus, what's the point of a car if it's not a Lexus? Why drive a car if it's not a Lexus? You think the person is happy driving that car. Chances are he's not. Because he doesn't have the car he wants. He can't afford the car he wants. And for the person who drives the Lexus, the person who's driving a regular car is complaining that, oh, I don't have a Lexus. People who drive Lexus are automatically happier than me. Since they're happier than me, I won't be happy. That's the mindset, right? Guess what? That person who's driving a Lexus is also complaining. I'm only driving a Lexus. I only have one Lexus. My peers, there are people my age who have at least 100 Lexuses. I only have one. I will never appreciate the Lexus that I have unless I have 100 of them. It's only one useless Lexus. I will never be happy with what I have unless I have at least 100 Lexuses. One is not enough. And guess what? The person with 100 Lexus, do you know what he's complaining about? He's complaining that he has 100 Lexuses, but he has no girlfriend. What's the point of having 100 Lexuses without a girlfriend or a boyfriend? What's the point? Even if I have 1,000,000 Lexuses, it still won't equal one girlfriend. I would never be happy with 100 Lexus, even if 1,000,000 of them, 1,000,000,000 Lexuses, 1,000,000,000,000, if I don't have a girlfriend to drive it with. What's the point of a Lexus if you can't drive it with a lover in the car? What's the point? You see the mindset of people? They always have the jealous mindset. They always have a jealous mindset. They're too envious of others. They're too jealous of others to appreciate what they have. And guess what? The guy with a girlfriend and 100 Lexuses, that the guy was, the previous guy was jealous of, guess what he's complaining about? His girlfriend is too short. His girlfriend talks a lot. He doesn't want a girlfriend. He envies those without girlfriends. Oh, if only he didn't have a girlfriend to begin with. If only he didn't have she didn't have a boyfriend to begin with. Her life would definitely be happier. Look at that single guy right there with driving one Lexus. He looks so much happier than me. If I can ditch my lover and become a single guy again, ooh, my life will be happier. I will never be happy unless I get rid of this woman. Or I will never be happy unless I get rid of this useless loser of a man. You see how people just keep comparing themselves to others endlessly? How can you ever be happy when you keep looking down on what you have? You will never be happy. And that's how this world works. You decided not to be happy. Unless you have what everyone else has, you will never be happy. So never envy other people. You think they're happier than you, but they're not. They are not happier than you because they have the same mindset that you have. Greedy. They're always greedy for more. Envious. They're always envious of other people. Even people who have less money than them. Even people who have less things than them. You think the billionaire with, $1 billion will be satisfied with his $1 billion. He's not. Why? Because his wife annoys him. He doesn't even like his children. Nothing makes logical sense to him. He has $1 billion, but he's surrounded by people he doesn't like. What's the point of $1 billion if you're stuck with a wife you don't want? If you're stuck with children you don't want? Oh, how envious of him, of that poor loser who has no girlfriend, no wives, no kids. He's just starting college. He's 18 years old, just starting college. His life is up to him. He can do whatever he wants now. How envious of that how envious of that billionaire when he sees that 18-year-old, guy just living his life. He has the freedom to do whatever he wants. And that billionaire is stuck with a wife, and a bunch of kids. A bunch of kids that's always begging him for money. A bunch of kids that are always begging him to be a good dad. Take care of your kids. That's your job as a dad. Take care of your kids. He has all this money, but what's the point of all this money if he's stuck in a miserable life? He doesn't want his kids. He doesn't want his wife. He wants a divorce, but he can't get a divorce. If he gets a divorce, half his money is gone. Then he still has to pay, child support. And not only that, he'll break the hearts of his wife, his kids, and their family members. His own family members may disown him for breaking up with his wife, and the family members of the wife could, will definitely become his enemies from then on. There's too much risk to break up with his wife, man. The risks are too high, so he's stuck. Billions of dollars, but he's still stuck and miserable. He will never appreciate his wife because he thinks that single guy, that single loser without any dollar in his bank account is happier than him. And as long as he believes he's happier than him, it's over. He will never like his wife. He will never like his children. He wants to be single again. He wants to feel like he's in his, 18s, in his teens again. He wants to feel like an 18-year-old again. Who cares about money? He wants to live his life without any kids, without any wives. And that's what you need to be careful of. Comparisons. Stop comparing yourself to others. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. The billionaires you think are happier than you. are not as happy as you think they are. The poor folks who you think are happier than you are not as happy as you think they are. The middle class who you think are happier than you are not as happy as you think they are. The people in relationships that you think are happier than you are not as happy as you think they are. The people, that aren't in a relationship that you think are happier than you are not as happy as you think they are. The people with kids that you think are happier than you are not as happy as you think they are. And just because you have these things will not make you happy. You take you wherever you go. That's what you need to know. If you're miserable in life, you just have to know you can't escape yourself. You can never escape yourself. Even if you surround yourself with 1,000,000 friends, you will still be you. You will still look for things you hate in life. If you don't change your mindset and start appreciating life, no matter how many things God brings to your life, you will not appreciate it. You will look down on it. The problem is in the world. The problem is you. If you don't change your mindset, if you don't start appreciating yourself, if you don't start valuing yourself, you will never see yourself as valuable. Even if you have $1 million, even if you have $1 billion, even if you own the whole world, you will still never see yourself as valuable. Because you will always think that somebody else has something better than you. Because you think you're worthless, you will always see someone as better than you. And only because you think you're worthless. If you didn't think you're worthless to begin with, you end up realizing that this world, everyone is born on an even playing field. Some people, you may think some people have more than you. They also have the equal and opposite. More stress than you. Everything is equal. The more money you have, the more problems you have. Rich folks have rich folks' problems. Poor folks have poor folks' problems. It all evens out. You may not see it as, things, you may not think it evens out, but it does. People in relationships have relationship issues. People out of relationships also have their own issues. Just getting into a relationship will not fix your issues. Make things worse. Just getting out of a relationship will not fix your issues. It could make things worse. You really have to think about, what you truly want in life. If you think what others people have is what you want, chances are it's not what you want. It probably never will be. Because even if you have it, you will still be you. Your personality will not change. Your mindset will not change. Your behavior will not change. You will still be you whether you're a billionaire or a poor person. You'll still be you whether you're driving a Lamborghini or a Toyota Corolla. You'll still be you whether you have 1,000,000 friends or no friends at all. You'll still be you whether you live in a 10-bedroom mansion or a small little hut. You'll always be you. And if you hate yourself, you will hate yourself wherever you go. Whether you live in the United States or you live in a foreign country, you will still be you. And you will still hate yourself. As long as you have an ungrateful mindset, you will never be happy in this world, no matter how much you have. As long as you don't believe in yourself, as long as you don't value yourself, you will always see yourself as worthless, no matter what you do. The problem is in the world. The problem is in the equalities of the world. The problem is you. You are ungrateful. You are greedy. You are jealous. You are envious. These are sins, and they're sins for a reason. Because these things will ruin your life. And the Bible tells you to avoid sins. Because sins will ruin your life. Do not look down on yourself. You don't need to have $1 million to be happy. You don't need to have $1 million to be valuable. You may see yourself as worthless, but your friends and family will never see you as worthless. You may see yourself as valueless, but I promise you, there's someone in this world, someone close to you, who finds you very valuable, more valuable than $1 million, more valuable than billions of dollars. You're not worthless because God does not create worthless things. The children of God will never be worthless because God is not worthless. And that's what you need to know. You must value what you have. Because if you don't value what you have, no matter how much you have in this world, you will never value it. And that's what you need to be careful of. The grass is not always greener on the other side. So when you go to the other side, you end up realizing you're still you. No matter how green the grass is on the other side, you are still you. If you hate yourself here, on this side, you will still hate yourself on the other side. There's no difference between the two. And that's what you need to be careful of. If you don't value what you have, you will lose it. If you don't trust yourself, and you don't value yourself, you will lose your own life. Be very grateful for what God has given you. Stop looking at what other people have. Because what other people have does not automatically make them happier. It doesn't. Happiness comes from a mindset change. You must have the mindset of gratefulness. Because only when you're grateful do you become a great man. Only when you're grateful do you become great. Be grateful in life for what you have. Be grateful to God for what you have. And you will always be happy. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I pray for everyone's safety and understanding. Amen.